Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheers to Comics podcast. This is episode 61, and I'm your host, Brian Wayne. This week, I'll be raising my glass to the books that were released on the 1st of January, 2020. So, full disclosure, this is a spoiler-based podcast, but I do also leave timestamps in the description and the show notes. So, yeah, if there's something you're not ready to have spoiled for you, there you go. The other thing I like to warn you about is this is not necessarily a safe for work podcast. I do have a bit of a potty mouth, so if you got sensitive ears, you've been warned. Without further ado, let's talk comic books. A lot of times I start with some news. Couldn't really find any news. Scouring the internet. Admittedly, I didn't scour too hard, but yeah, no, I didn't see anything worth talking about. So let's just jump right into some overviews. Now, I will have to say that I'm rocking a killer toothache, bro. Yeah, there may be times where I stumble over my words here a little bit more than normal, so bear with me. But, to your benefit, I guess, there's only a few books to talk about this week. The first wasn't a super heavy week. It really wasn't, but it was very quality, that's for damn sure. So I'm going to start out with talking some DC. We're going to talk Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond number 39. Dan Jurgens and Naki Miranda and Chris Sotomayor, covered by Dustin Nguyen. Alright, so we have Neo Batwoman fighting Blight at this point. Blight's not supposed to be alive, but, you know, comics and, well, radiation never really dies. It's kind of the theme of this story, I guess. So what we come to realize is that Blight is responsible for the death of Matt's father, Matt being Terry McGinnis, the Batman of now, his little brother. So their father is responsible for the death of, Blight is responsible for the death of their father. What he does to get dead, we find out here in just a few. So Bruce and Matt, they're watching from a distance, and at this point, they're still debating on who this Neo Batwoman is. Regardless of the fact that both Barbara and Melanie completely refused and have all the alibis in the world to back it up, both Bruce and Matt are sticking to their guns. So while Neo Batwoman's fighting, they're calling. They're both calling to see who would pick up and blah blah blah. Well, both phones go to voicemail, so they render the experiment inconclusive. I found it to be kind of funny, because there's no way it's either of those guys. We all know it's Dick Grayson's daughter. Anyways, so, Terry, she's, or he, whoops. Terry, he's out with that street rat Constance. You know, he ain't got no memory on account of false face fucking with him and all that. And, yeah, so she starts explaining her history with Derek Powers, a.k.a. Blight. And then from there, it's revealed that she was working on some crazy experimental bullshit. And Mr. McGinnis, so that would be Terry and Matt's daddy, outed her and said, hey, this bitch's crap is, like, super scary and dangerous, and we shouldn't do it. And so she was shut down, and it completely ruined her whole thing. And, well, she's not too happy. And that is essentially where the death of Terry and Matt's father comes about. Is because of that whole circle of convenience comics. So, yeah, well, Batwoman, she's fighting Blight, and she temporarily traps him. And he kind of rips his containment suit and all of that, you know, because he's a gaseous. Yeah, that's bad. If he doesn't have any containment suit, can't kill him, but still, you know, he's got to be contained somehow to be able to be a figure to, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Either way, he's sad about that. So he's calling for help, and the person he calls is convenient because it's his old squeeze, old Constance, and they both have a common enemy, and blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. I dug the shit out of it. I really did. Oh, you want to know something, though? It gets even crazier. I forgot. Super spoiler. So when Blight and Constance reunite again for the first time in a while, because they have been estranged, didn't end on great notes, Blight says, look, I need a body. I need a new body because, yeah, I gotta be a thing. And Constance, without blinking an eye, was like, hey, I got a guy. He's got no memory of anything in his life. He'd be fucking perfect. Can you guess who that person is? Yeah, it's Terry. Whoa. Right? Digging the shit out of Batman Beyond. I can't get enough of this book. It's one of my favorite, DC books out there. My next favorite, or at least in the same list, tied for favorite, is going to be Detective Comics, number 1018. So this is The Dead of Winter Part 1, Peter J. Tomasi, Scott Godlewski, and David Barron. Covered by Rafael Sandoval, Jordi Tarragona, and John Cleese. So it starts out in 1659 in the township of Gotham, and it's a big flashback sequence, and it's not really a big flashback sequence as much as it is one giant visual of this crazy Santa Claus-esque looking barbarian fighter motherfucker. So you would begin to wonder when he comes in. They flash right now to Batman. Batman, he's on a case with the botanical gardens because, the big giant Christmas tree that lights up Gotham. It was decorated with bodies. So, well, Batman in his detectivizing realizes that it's a pagan ritual, and then he sees these big imprints and tries to figure out who the fuck it is. Well, he's got to go off and be Bruce eventually. He can't detective forever. So he's at this tree lighting ceremony, and as they go to light the tree, Joel LeBloat shows up. Joel LeBloat being this, the guy that we saw in the very beginning. So I don't know how long this Christmas-like story arc is going to go on, but even though it's beyond Christmas and all of that, I'm still perfectly fine with it. I like Tomasi's detective run. I like it quite a bit, actually. So those are the only two DC books that I'm talking about this week. This was the side of the week. I realized that DC has a pattern. 1 week super heavy, 1 week super light. I'm subscribed to about half of DC's books, and I feel like the majority of those come out all in the same week, with the exception of Beyond and Detective right now. So, yeah, it is what it is. But we're going to move on to a couple of indies here. The first one being I Can Sell You a Body, number 1, by Ryan Ferrier and George Combadius. Try it again. Combadius. Oh, that sounds better when you say it like that. George Combadius. Cool. Cover also by George Combadius, I believe. So the premise of this book hooked me as soon as I read the previews, world's description. Thought it was great. So, essentially, they didn't lie. It is about transferring consciousness into other bodies and, through clairvoyancy and the dead and all of that. So it follows this character called Denny. And yes, he's able to communicate with the dead and perform these reverse exorcisms. Well, because of his talent, he's wanted by certain people. And the first certain people that we see that of significance wanting his talents is this little brat kid whose uncle is dead. And his uncle was this big gangster dude. So, yeah, old Denny, he's being threatened, owes a bunch of money because he still hasn't, produced a body. And that's the thing, is his difficulty is sometimes it's hard to find a fucking body, a willing body, to just be like, hey, do you not want to be you anymore, and just be like a vessel for someone else's bullshit? So, yeah, but the part that's even harder is the fact that his target, this kid's uncle, is evading him, and that's very uncommon. Most of these spirits would die to have another chance down on the other world, even if it does mean coming back with saggy butts and boobs and whatnot. But I don't know. But still, it's life, right? Well, this guy, he doesn't want to, and that's a fucking problem. Well, there's a second side to this whole story. Denny, he meets a love interest by the name of Henrietta Solis to be exact. And she goes to Denny for his services and says, look, I need assistance with my dead uncle. Can't find my inheritance anywhere. I really need this money. Denny makes contact, says, look, Henrietta, I'm sorry, your inheritance was gone, spent. Whoops. bye-bye, I'm so sorry. And she says, well, I'm fucked. That's it for me. I've got nothing now. So Denny pulls out this duffel bag full of money, just hands it over. Apparently that's the little, some of the money that he has saved up in case he doesn't come through for this kid, so he doesn't get his neck broken or whatever happens. But no, he just very graciously hands it over. And then after they part ways and everything, oh, I'm in love, super in love, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of seems very regretful in the end. But still, naturally you would. I can tell you a body was everything I hoped it was. It really was. I super dug this book. I don't know what else to say about it. That's pretty much the rundown. You have to enjoy the rest of the comedy and the jokes all yourself. Let's move on to an Image book, Killadelphia #2. We just recently had Rodney Barnes on the podcast. That'll be airing here not too long from the time this episode airs. So 2 episodes from now. So Sunday. And we're going to talk all about Killadelphia and all that. So I'm going to give just kind of a brief rundown of what I got out of this. And after speaking with Rodney, I realized that this is supposed to be a very slow burn, and issue 3 is going to be bam, all up in our fucking faces. So what I got out of this is Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander are creating absolute beautiful vampiric gold. We don't get vampire books that are good. We haven't for a long time. So, like I said, or will say on that podcast, I guess, depending on how you perceive it. Since Snyder's American Vampire. So, yeah, well, we've got a good one here, and this follows a couple new sets of characters, and it opens up this whole new world. We've got this presidential character, John Adams. Seems to be like the king of the vampires, at least in Philly. And, oh man, this book is so incredible. I can't recommend it enough. And yes, I will admit the first 2 issues are very slow-burning world building, but I fully believe that this book is going to pay off tremendously, and it sounds like it's going to go ongoing too, so get down on it. That's what I have for indies. Once again, only a couple of indies this week. This might be a rather short podcast. Shoot. I didn't do this on purpose, I promise. Let's keep this going though. We've got a few Marvel books to talk about. We've got Hawkeye Freefall #1. Matthew Rosenberg and Otto Schmidt, covered by Kim Jacinto and Tamara Bonvillain. Oh, this book was everything I wanted and then some. I can't believe how good a Hawkeye book is. I love it. I love it so much. So, Clint, his first mission, he's infiltrating the Hood. And he takes out the Hood. Hood gets arrested, goes to court. Thing is, he's acquitted of the charges. He's got a bunch of men that go down, but he's not afraid to say, look, because those men are my men. They're perfectly safe in jail. They're probably safer and gonna live a better life in jail than they are out here. So, bam. So he's super gangster about it because he's totally taunting Clint in the back of a limo. You'll never catch me, dude. You'll never catch me. And Clint's starting to kind of doubt it himself. Well, so he gets home. Clint, turns out, he's banging the night nurse. Bam, bam. And we get a whole bunch of bachelor jokes. And, it's cool. He's a fun guy. Clint's a fun guy. He is. He's wiping his toothpaste mouth on his girlfriend, night nurse's dirty shirt. I don't think they're girlfriend, boyfriend. But they're totally banging. 'Cause they bang in this. They do. They bang. They bang. Anyway, well, it turns out there's more. There's more than just night nurse banging and the Hood taunting. There's a new Ronin, and who this new Ronin is becomes a mystery. And once this new Ronin takes out a bunch of I guess bad men. Who was it? Oh, it was like an armored vehicle. That's what it was. Takes out an armored vehicle. He gets questioned while he's eating his breakfast. He's out eating his breakfast, and then boom, Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson, aka Winter Soldier, and the Falcon show up right after Falcon's Hawk shits in shits in his omelet, Hawkeye's omelet. And it says, look, I think Bucky's pretty hinty that he really thinks that Hawkeye is Ronin, and Hawkeye's trying to prove he's not. And then they get a buzz. Oh, Ronin's out doing it because they're staking out. And turns out, yeah, no, Ronin kicks all three of their asses, leaves them in the dust, and we get a whole "I told you so" moment. Bam! I fucking love this book so much. It was so much fun. Otto Schmidt's art was perfect, absolutely perfect. And Rosenberg just knows how to make me laugh, man. He just knows how to do it. And at the same time, it's not all just complete slapstick comedy either. Yes, it's a very fun book. Highly, highly recommended. More Marvel carrying on. We got Daredevil number 16, Legacy numbering 628. Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Fornes, and Nolan Woodard, covered by the great Julian Totino Tedesco. Never gonna get tired of saying that. Alright, so there's a lot going on in this book. The first page is kind of just, it almost seems like a throwaway, but you know it's going to mean something. It's the gentleman that Daredevil supposedly killed, his living brother. He's talking with Foggy, and Foggy says, use your leverage, you know who Daredevil is, fucking use it in court, bro. So, also, Daredevil and Elektra are banging, but they're also teaming up to do some shit. They do a cool little heist move that it's really it's the Stormwind family. They're the super rich family. They're like the Waltons, I guess. They oh, toothache's making me lose my voice somehow. How does that work? They team up, do this Robin Hood thing, steal from the rich, give to the poor, but Elektra kind of takes a bit of a bonus, a little finder's fee, as she calls it, for the small fee of $1 billion. So, yeah, Daredevil, he's a little upset about that. We also get a confrontation between Daredevil, not Daredevil anymore, he's just Matt now, but yeah, he and Kingpin in the hospital, and that's where he gets his information about the Stormwind family. He wants to make sure Kingpin wasn't in on that all the bullshit going on, and yeah. Well, while all of that's happening, Hammerhead is trying to claim Hell's Kitchen to himself, and he gets word that the owl's in town, so he's got to take out the owl first, and then yeah, he's trying to claim himself to be the new Kingpin. Old Hammerhead, kind of scary, huh? And then there's also the fucking storyline of Detective Cole. Detective Cole, man, I'm really digging the shit out of this guy. He's done a complete 180. He's dropping all of his cases on heroes. He walks into the precinct, rips down his little pin-up push-pin mugshot, not as a mugshot, but Daily Bugle shot of Spidey's face, and rips it down, and that's kind of the statement. It's really all I needed to say. But then he says, look, Captain, I'm reassigning myself. My next target's gonna be what's he say? Who is it? Oh, the owl. Yeah, he wants to take on the case of the owl. So we're gonna get a Detective Cole Hammerhead crossover. Bam. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fucking dope. Because both those characters are the shit. I can't believe how awesome Detective Cole turns out to be with just being a regular ass dude. Leave it to the Daredevil universe. Just a bunch of regular ass dudes with no superpowers. Just fucking things up. So good. So good. I can't recommend Daredevil enough. There's a lot going on in this book, but it's paced well. It's beautiful. Let's talk Thor. Thor number 1, Legacy 727, Donny Cates, Nick Klein, Matt Wilson, covered by Oliver Copiel and Laura Martin. No, I did not get any of the 737,000 variants that were tied to this. Not for me. Were they cool? Yes. But didn't need to own them. If there were some virgin variants, maybe. But if it ain't a virgin, I'm not hanging it on my wall. Take that out of context. Jesus, Brian. So, Donny Cates has big old jockstrap to fill. Jason Aaron has been the god of Thor for a long while. And now, Donny Cates steps in, and frankly, I'm not disappointed. I think it's pretty cool. He's the Thor's the king of Asgard now. He's got his throne. kind of not super thrilled. He'd rather be a god than a king. And he's realizing this now, after all these years. And, well, frankly, he's kind of bored, so bored, in fact, he's helped throw an assist down at the Avengers 7 realms away, and you just see Mjolnir flying through the 7 realms for the first, 2.5 pages, and then boom, Tony Stark takes a Sharpie and writes it, enjoy your retirement or something like that. And, that kind of strikes a chord, a little heartstring with Thor. Realizes, I don't want to retire. Well, thankfully, Galactus shows up right as Thor's got to give his big speech in the Golden City. And Galactus doesn't just arrive. He falls face first into the fucking ground and comes bearing a message. And says, the Black Winter cometh, and I need you, Thor. So Thor, he joins in on the Council of Heralds. And, Silver Surfer, who's not so silver anymore on account of he's more black or cosmic-y, kind of pearlescent? No, not really pearlescent. I don't know. Cosmic-y. That's what we'll go with. He says, look, I'm going to go and be the Herald of Galactus because I figured out how to fix shit. The only way this Black Winter can go down is for Galactus to survive. He's survived it twice. Once when, in his origin story. Yeah, remember? In Silver Surfer Black number 2. And then, once again later on down the road. But he's not strong enough right now to survive the Black Winter. So, Norrin has stashed these secret 5 planets away from Galactus. And Galactus is super impressed with that. And as he says, look, me and Thor we're gonna go fuck shit up for you. He says, no. First, I got some shit to say. Thor's gonna kill me, way in the future. So, yeah. But you know what? In the meantime, I'm gonna make you the Herald of Thunder, Thor. So fucking badass, that last page. I dig it. I know there's. I could see this being a polarizing book, but that's going to happen when such a great run, kind of precedes it. So, yeah, I dug the shit out of it, and I'm happy to see Nick Klein back doing this. The art in this was absolutely beautiful. The fact that Matt Wilson is coloring Nick Klein's pencils is, so fucking good. And who would have thought that Nick Klein and Donny Cates would go over so well? Well, I had no doubts about that. That's for fucking sure. So, yeah, no, there's no doubts there. We could even get a little Cosmic Ghost Rider appearance, as one would do when, you're Donny Cates. Because it's the Herald of, or the Council of Heralds. That's where you get them. I thought it was pretty brilliant. I really did. I dug the heck out of this one. Let's keep this going. We've got a next book to talk about. We do. X-Men number 4. Jonathan Hickman, Lionel Francis Yu, Jerry Hanguilan, and Sonny Go. Covered by Lionel Francis Yu and Sonny Go. Alright. This is going to be a real quick overview. Essentially what you need to know here is this is the monthly gathering of the World Economic Forum. And the mutants are attending this time. And what we're getting out of this is, well, first off, what you need to know, the 3 mutants in attendance in the meeting itself are none other than Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse, dressed to the fucking tease. Goddamn, those suits are bad ass. Magneto looks good in white, not gonna lie. All of them look fucking amazing. And they go in there looking like bosses, and we know that Xavier's the richest man in the world, and he goes in there swinging his dick, saying, I'm just going to keep buying you, and there's nothing you could do about it, and then I'm going to buy your people, and I'm going to buy their people, and yeah, I just have unlimited funds, and the meeting really isn't going over so well, but Xavier and them have come prepared because we got Cyclops and Gorgon fucking shit up in the background, because, and when I say fucking shit up, I mean it's sense that there is an ambush attack fixing to happen, because the dude that killed Xavier is also sitting in this room, and they have a feeling that he was going to get shady if they didn't like what they said, and he's not liking what they said, but his men don't show up because Cyclops and Gorgon are fucking shit up. And by the way, Gorgon is now the chosen personal protector of any mutant leaving Krakoa, at least of, council status, I guess, from my understanding. I fucking love this. I keep saying that throughout this show, but X-Men is great. I like saying that. X-Men is great. Apocalypse is so badass. You could still sense the evil wants to come out of him, but at the same time, he has no problem refraining either. He's just so, he goes off about how you have to call me Apocalypse in the meeting because you guys don't have the ability to even utter my name. So fucking rad and godlike and beastly and Apocalypse. Ooh, fucking badass. Fucking badass, man. That does it for the overviews. Like I said, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 overviews isn't too bad. Went kind of quick, but at the same time, I find these all to be great quality. That's for damn sure. So before I get on with the honorable mentions, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Good day. I'm Ken.
And I'm Steve, and we're the hosts of the Nerd Cantina show where nerd culture and society intersect.
Whether you come for entertainment news
or some space and science talk,
we are here to keep you informed on weekly nerd topics and discuss how they affect us as a society.
As well as having in-depth interviews in our Cantina conversation and Fight Me Fridays.
Just like any cantina, we want you to join in on the conversation.
From our blog at thenerdcantina.com, our voicemail line, or our closed Facebook group at thenerdcantina.com/community where we really get to interact with our fans.
So pull up a stool and get involved in our community.
Alright, and I am back, and I'm ready to talk honorable mentions. If you're not familiar with the honorable mentions segment, this is when I go through and I talk about the books that didn't necessarily make it to the overview segment. And, it can be various reasons. It could be just because I couldn't find the right talking points, or maybe I'm saving it for something, maybe I'm just collecting it, but still feel like it deserves a shout out. And all of the books I get deserve a shout out. So, there you have it. First honorable mention I want to talk about is Marauders, number 5. I dug the shit out of it. It was a heavy story revolving around Iceman, and there was... this is good stuff. It really is. I just couldn't find the right talking points. When it came down as I was taking notes, I only had 2 things written down. So, but I still continue to read this book. I'm going to keep it going. It was slower in the beginning, but picked up. Star Wars number 1. This is taking place right after Empire. So I will be picking grabbing this, reading this here soon. I just didn't get around to it. That's all. I haven't heard anybody say must read yet. But at the same time, it's Charles Soule. I'm sure it's going to be great. I think people are just bitter because it's Star Wars. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 14. I'm still buying Miles Morales, obviously, but I haven't read a Miles Morales book in 3 or 4 issues now. I think I'm just going to keep it in the collection, keep it on the pull list. Just do my job to make sure comics are staying in circulation and being bought, not pirated. And just because I'm not reading it doesn't mean it's a worthless investment by any means. I found out that there was a first appearance in, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 13, something like that. Yeah, didn't read it, but boom. So, it doesn't hurt. I dug it. I used to dig it. It's not that I don't anymore. It's just I haven't given myself the opportunity to read it. Carrying on. DC honorable mentions. We've got Martian Manhunter number 11. I have a feeling this is going to be a book that turns out to be a trade negotiation for me. And I read the first 3 issues when it came out, and it was wacko. Super wacko. And I dug it, but I want to read it all at once. Justice League Dark number 18. This kind of falls in the same category with Miles Morales. I haven't read it in a while, but I want to keep collecting it because I want a JL Dark run. And, to be perfectly honest, you never know. Maybe I want to go back and revisit some stuff that I fell super behind on, and JL Dark seems like one of those books that I would go to first in that situation. Joker Harley Criminal Sanity. Holy shit. Once again, just like the first issue, it's absolutely beautiful. Can't find the talking points because I could just say it all in one thing because it's just told so poetically. And the art, that art is next level. Mike Mayhew continues to just fucking dominate. Miko Soyon's colors, digging the shit out of it. Indie honorable mentions, we got Stabity Bunny Emmett's story. The solicitations said this is the one Stabity, if you're new to Stabity, this is the one you gotta read. Well, unfortunately this one just kind of lost me. I don't understand what's going on here because I don't really know what Stabity is at all. So I was hoping they would explain some of that, but not necessarily. I'm sure for those of you that, I mean, it wasn't poorly written or anything like that. It's just, I mean, the art's fine. It's great. Actually, fine's not even a good word. It's great. Everything's fine. It's just, I don't know any of these characters, so unfortunately it didn't really mean anything to me. Last honorable mention is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 20. So this one will, it just continues on. We're almost to that point. I think at issue 24 is when the original run stopped. So it won't be long before we're getting new content in this story. And just like that does it for honorable mentions. There was some great stuff to talk about that I didn't really get an overview, unfortunately. A lot of that stuff I really wish I did get around to. I wish I was caught up on JL Dark and Manhunter and Miles Morales and all of that good stuff, but yeah, what are you going to do? There's only so many hours in the day, unfortunately. Let's move on to wall books. Wall books, this is kind of a self-explanatory category if you're new to the show, but essentially what it is, it's me just talking about the shit that I got strictly to hang on the wall of Studio Cerebro and the hallway leading to it. So, yeah. I've only got one wall book again this week, but it's a fucking beauty. Honestly, I didn't order this one. It just showed up in my box, and I didn't put it back. I went and I grabbed cover A as well. This is a great one. It is Detective Comics number 1018. And shit, who did this variant? I gotta open it up real quick. I gotta make sure I give proper credit. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to ruin anything. Igor Cordy. Nope, didn't know who that was. Igor Cordy, you are officially on my radar, sir. That is fucking amazing. Yeah, I know, you're gonna have to see it for yourself. It's a podcast, can't show you. You might get an idea in the thumbnail for the episode, but yeah, that's it. That's the only way you're gonna know unless you go, only other way you're gonna know unless you go buy it yourself. So go to your local comic book store and do all of that. Yeah, just the one wall book. Just the one, but it's a beaut. I got a whole Batman theme going on in one segment of the wall right now, so it's going to be perfect. And yeah, that's all the books I have to talk about. I would like to give my top recommendations for the week, though, my top shout-outs, top acknowledgements. Starting out with the best cover of the week. Believe it or not, I actually thought that there was a cover better than this, Detective Comics, even though it has trade dress all over it. But fortunately for me and the X-Men books, there's I like the new logo on the trade dress, or the lack of trade dress on X-Men, and because of that, it makes the books a lot more hangable. But that fucking cover of Apocalypse and Magneto and Xavier strutting around in their suits, whew, it's just badass. It really is. It's just badass. So Sonny Go and Lionel Francis, you killed it on that one as well. Interiors of the week. I think anytime Criminal Sanity is going to be on the docket, it's going to be the winner for me. That's just art that can't be beat right now. To me, that's the Libre Mejo. I mean, I love these Black Label books and these artists they're bringing on, because they're so just heavy-handed with their, oh man, no punches pulled, that's for sure. Mike Mayhew and Miko Suyon fucking kill it, and that Francesco Mattina cover as well. Forgot to shout that out. That is a beautiful cover, don't get me wrong. It's usually the Mattina covers that get it, but I stand firm by the X-Men. Anyway, carry on. My overall pick of the week, you could probably guess throughout this podcast based off my level of excitement between Hawkeye Freefall and everything else, how much I liked Hawkeye Freefall. Dude, this is great. If you're down on Hawkeye, and this book will lift you up. You will be a Hawkeye fan when it's all said and done. I think it'd be weird if you weren't. It's just a fun book. If you like fun comics, which I would hope that you do, then this is easily my most recommended book of the week. So, that there does it. It has been a podcast, Lurds. I know it's been a little bit shorter than usual, but honestly, I had to talk fast because this toothache is fucking up my whole skull. So yeah, let's give a shout out to some Patreons, man. I had some new Patreons join recently, and I cannot thank you enough. NSC Live TV, you're the shit. Ryan, welcome back. Ken M from the Ocho Duro, you fucking rock, dude. Steve and Ken both from the Nerd Cantina. Shit, who else? Sean, you've been a dude from the very beginning. Sean Mullen, you're badass. Welcome to the NSC Live team again, by the way. Bam. So yeah, patrons, that's awesome. Those guys contribute anywhere between $1 a month to $30 a month, and you could join the Slurred Army along with them. And yeah, patreon.com/cheers to comics. It's really easy. Go do that. $1. And it goes towards all types of good stuff too. It's not just me begging for money. You get stuff in return. Good stuff. Exclusive stuff. As you should, as a consumer. The other way you could support this podcast is by leaving reviews. 5-star reviews on Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Pod Chasers, dope. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, like to review stuff, just do that. 5 stars. Awesome. And I'll read the reviews and whatnot on the show. And yeah, and I take your criticism very constructively. So, boom. Thank you again, Slurds. My voice is dying as the tune fades in. So, y'all have a lovely week. Read responsibly, and cheers, my fuckers.